The music news for the streets, the music news for your beats, the news for the music stuff that you gonna need. We gon' talk about plugins, we gon' talk about gear. If it's news on this music, we gon' talk about it here. Let's go.
What up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. It's your guy, Some. Hit the keys. Looks like Arturia just dropped FX Collection 5 on us. So in today's video, what I'm gonna do is I'm kind of gonna give you guys my first impressions. I've had it for a little bit, but I haven't got to dig into it as much as I'd like to. So we're gonna talk about the 4 new plugins in the suite, and then I'm also gonna talk about some of the other plugins that I also like. It's 6 o'clock in the morning where I'm at, so excuse me if I don't seem like I'm the most enthused. It's not these plugins. These plugins are pretty fire. It's more so that I'm tired. So let's go ahead and hop into the new plugins. So one of the new plugins is called Bus Exciter. So this is pretty fire. With this plugin right here, basically you can, put this on whatever it is that you want to, bus and insert. And then you can add some harmonics. So, you have bass, you have your lower frequencies down here, and then it can control everything up to like 350 hertz. Your exciter, you can put this band all the way down to 350 up to 10K. And then you can obviously generate some more harmonics. You can change the frequencies here. You can change the mix, the wet level, all that stuff here. So pretty cool. Another one of the plugins that they have is this Bus Peak. So this Bus Peak is pretty solid. With this thing right here, it's basically a clipper and a limiter. And with it, you can link this to other channels. So I'm going to play these here in just one moment. I'm actually going to play this sample beat so you guys can hear that. Another one of the plugins that they just released, well, they didn't just release this one. You guys may know about this already. It's EFX Motion. So this comes in the Collection 5. Along with EFX Refract, which was free a little bit ago, but it's not free anymore. But those are going to be the 4 new plugins in there. But obviously, Arturia makes great stuff. So I made a little sample beat, as always, using all Arturia stuff. So all of the bass and the melodic pieces are all Arturia stuff, and all the effects are Arturia stuff. This is a little house beat. Again, I'm not a house aficionado, so I don't know how great this is going to sound, but let's go. All right, guys, so that's the first little sample beat that I put together for you guys today. Let's go ahead and check this thing out a little bit more. So what's cool about this is, again, I'll start with the new plugins, since obviously that's what you guys are probably here for. So with the new plugins, I really do like this exciter because it just allows you to add flavor. So I have another demo beat that I'm going to play for you guys a little bit later, and I'm going to talk about some of the other plugins in this suite. But this exciter is pretty solid. So let's go ahead and bypass this real quick, and then I'm going to turn it on and you're going to hear the difference. So you can hear how it just made the drums feel like they're thicker. Over here, you have different controls. So you have, your phase right here. You have saturation, so you can add saturation to the sound. You've got whether you want it to be big bass, all bass, off, on the mono. You have control over your slope. So that's your EQ slope. So, as I move this, it just is going to change the slope. And then you can make it 100% stereo. You can obviously, make it mono. So you have a lot of control over what you can do. So you can hear how it's bringing out the high-end frequencies with that exciter. We'll just turn up this big bass here. And with this as well, you can mess with the frequency and the drive. So you can really shape your kick, you know, because again, this is what the kick sounded like without any of that on there. So it's a good tool. You have control over your output right here too as well. So you can push the low end or you can push the high end, whichever is you want. And then you also have control over like oversampling down here too. So it's a pretty good tool. Obviously, you can use this to shape your drums or shape whatever it is that you want to, guitar, anything that you want to put on a bus, you can use this to shape it. All right, then the next plugin that I have for you guys that just came out is the Bus Peak. Like I said earlier, this is pretty solid. Basically, this is a soft clipper slash limiter. So you can use them both at the same time, or you can turn one on and turn the other one off. It's pretty solid. Like I was mentioning earlier, you can link the clippers together. So if you have the threshold of a different clipper down and you kind of want to match the drums or something else with that other one, you can just hit this link button real quick. And then once it circles up, you'll see that it's linked. So this one right here is pretty self-explanatory. You have control over the knee, the character, and then the character and the release. You can equal loudness down here. And then right here, you can, I don't know what this does. I'm going to be honest with you guys. It just says mixing high quality. I'm going to be honest. I don't know what that does. So you can hear how the more I'm squashing it, it's, you know, squashing those drums. So it's a good tool. It's a good clipper. It's about time that they had one. I mean, this is pretty self-explanatory. It's a, you know, a limiter and a clipper. So I'm not going to go too much into detail with this one. The last thing I want to talk about, well, one of the last things I want to talk about from the new plugins are this EFX Emotions. So this plugin is pretty solid. I'm pretty sure most of you guys know what this is by now. It's similar to something like a Shaper Box or Infiltrator. But it's really dope. I mean, this one's really, really, really dope. I didn't have this before the other day. So I've been messing with this nonstop. And with this, it's just pretty solid. It's got like a filter, noise, drive, volume, pan, and repeat effects. And so you can do a whole bunch of stuff. So you see I have it set up right here to where it's in a sequence. So I'm going to push bypass real quick. And I put it on this piano and it sounds like this. So then once I threw EFX Motions on there, I got that same piano to sound like this. So then this is my favorite tool out of all of the new plugins here in FX Collection 5. We'll just go ahead and listen to a few presets. Let's go ahead and go to a couple more. I'll just go through random. So just to fire plugin, again, you can do all kinds of stuff. You can use this thing to do build-ups and just all kinds of dope stuff. So a couple other plugins that I really like, Reverb Intensity, my favorite reverb in the game, killing every other reverb out there to me. Another good plugin in this FX collection would also be EFX Fragments, because this is like a granular effect, and so it just does pretty cool stuff. So I got it on this vocal. And this vocal basically sounds like this without the EFX fragments on there. All right, so then once I threw the EFX fragments on there, I got it to sound like this, and the reverb intensity. So you hear all those grains just became part of the beat. It wasn't really much of the vocal anymore. So I think that's pretty solid. All right, guys, so I got another little sample beat for you guys. I'm gonna play. On this one, I use a bunch of Arturia stuff too, as you can see here as well. I also use all of the new effects, and I use the EFX refract. So I'll kind of go through that briefly. Again, there's a bunch of content out there on that already, so I just kind of wanted to talk about the two newer plugins. But with this, it's not all the way mixed down. I use EFX motions all over this thing, so all of the switching up and the breaking and the beat is all from EFX motions. All right, guys, so I'm gonna talk about this first. Another one of my favorite plugins in this suite is Tape Mellowfy. This was also a free plugin that they gave away way back. This one's cool because I use this to like add a lo-fi effect or to dirty up my drums. So I'm using this with this bus exciter, and the drums sound like this initially. Now, once I throw Tape Mellowfy on there, I get the drums to sound like this. So you can hear how they sound a little grimier. Sorry, I got that automation on there, so you're gonna hear that too as well. And then once I threw the bus exciter on there, so you can just hear how they made the drums sound so much grittier. I just wanted to do that first so I can turn off Tape Mellowfy because it's gonna make that noise in the background. And then I also used EFX refract. So very solid plugin. Another one I love too is this Distortion Coldfire. Just a lot of good plugins in this suite. But on this right here, so I have this sound. And so then I threw this refract on there. That's fire, you know, and then you can add more voices if you want to. Again, this is, I've already talked about this on the channel a bunch, so I'm not going to go through a whole review on this. But this is pretty solid. Then I threw this reverb intensity on there. Just a fire reverb. So, all right, guys, that's what I got for you guys today. I don't really know how to do a review on FX Collection anymore at this point. I did want to make sure I brought the new plugins to you. I've talked about it a lot. You guys know how I feel about Arturia. It's my favorite software company out there. I'm not just saying that to cap. I love everything that they do. I would definitely recommend checking your loyalty offer though on Arturia because you might be able to get it for $50 to $100. I'm not sure if it's worth it if you have FX Collection 4. It depends on what that loyalty upgrade cost is, in my opinion. But if you're on 3, it's probably time to upgrade, and you're probably going to get a good loyalty offer because you're going to get Distortion Coldfire and all that other stuff too as well. So I would just look into it, see what you have, see what offer you get, see what you need, you know, and if you need it, go grab it because it's Arturia. You know, it's fire. So make sure if you guys do like this content though, you drop a whole elbow on that like button, hit subscribe and that notification bell so every time I bring you guys a new video, you can be the first to see. Appreciate you guys' time as always, and I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.
Some, hit the key.